Welcome to the Lincoln Complex. Tonight's matchup featuring the Polar Bears of Bowdoin College taking on your Eagles of Husson University. The NCAA North Atlantic Conference and Husson University promote good sportsmanship by the student athletes, coaches, and spectators at tonight's contest. Request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other community actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the Lincoln Complex. At this time, let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First for the visiting Polar Bears. At midfield, number 6, Maddie Merva. At midfield, number 8, Maya Malafont. At midfield, number 9, Clara Noyes. At 4, number 10, Faith Jennings. At 4, number 11, McKay Balmer. At midfield, number 14, Caroline Higgins. On defense, number 15, Melissa Shunk. On defense, number 22, Georgie Kutzer. At midfield, number 23, Jane Shanahan. On defense, number 25, Sophia Rutman. In goal, number 33, Julia Arsenault. Board is under direction of head coach Nikki Pearson. And now, the starting lineup for your Husson University Eagles. In goal, a senior from Westbrook, Maine, number 00, Kimmy Goddard. A freshman from Pittston, Maine, number 2, Leah Bussard. A freshman from North Conway, New Hampshire, number 7, Tessa Capizzoli. A sophomore from Winthrop, Maine, number 8, Maddie Perkins. A senior from Old Town, Maine, number 10, Tegan Blackie. A junior from Ossipee, New Hampshire, number 13, Allison Drew. A sophomore from Pittsfield, Maine, number 16, Ella Louder. A junior from Winslow, Maine, number 22, Carly Ramsdale. A freshman from Saco, Maine, number 24, Faith Tillotson. A sophomore from Winthrop, Maine, number 27, Abby Ross. And a senior from Naples, Maine, number 28, Julia Murch. The Eagles are under direction of head coach Caitlin Baloff, and she's assisted by Amanda DeHaze. Fans, at this time, we ask you please rise and honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome, everybody, to the John W. Winkin Sports Complex here in Bangor, Maine. Ethan Moss alongside Ryan Barnes bringing you today's matchup between the visiting Polar Bears of Bowdoin College, the 13th-ranked team in the country for D3 field hockey, and the Husson University Eagles. I think today's going to be a great matchup between these two teams. It's a great test for the Eagles heading into the bulk of their conference play here in a couple of weeks. And for the Polar Bears, it's a great stepping off point again for them to try and go into conference play, the bulk of their play being done in the NESCAC.
Both teams coming in with over 500 records. Bowdoin coming in with a 5-2 record, most recently picking up a win at Williams this past Sunday. And for Husson, this past Sunday, picking up a 2-1 win over Plymouth State to go 3-2 overall. So two teams really just trying to keep things going, keep momentum going, and we should be in for a good one tonight.
Absolutely. The Polar Bears have had the Eagles' number in recent years. I say recent years, it's been for the entirety of this matchup. Eagles have yet to get a win against Bowdoin, trying to turn that around tonight. I think they've got a good squad to be able to do that. Young squad for this field hockey team. And of course the backstop, Kimmy Goddard, for these Eagles is going to be a big key should they try to upset the Polar Bears tonight. As we get set, we'll take a look at the starters. Of course, Kimmy Goddard in goal. For the Eagles, Leah Bouchard, Tessa Capozzoli, Maddie Perkins, Tegan Blackie, Allison Drew, Ella Lauder, Carly Ramsdell, Faith Tillotson, Abby Ross, and Julia Murch. Then on the Polar Bears side, Maddie Merva, Maya Malenfant, Clara Noyes, Faith Jennings, McKay Bomber, Caroline Higgins, Melissa Shunk, Georgie Kutzer, Jane Shanahan, Sophia Rutman, and in goal, Julia Arsenault. It'll be Merva set to send it off. Sends it downfield to Murch. This one poked away already. On down towards the sideline. That's McKay Bomber, tries to get it into the circle. Poked away by the Eagles defense. This is Maddie Perkins dribbling with it. Trying to turn it up towards midfield. Get it to the outside. That's Tillotson trying to track it down. Can't get there. Ball goes back to the Polar Bears. Messy contact in the middle. Maddie Perkins draws the foul. And they'll take over at midfield. Pass goes just behind Murch. There's Blackie to collect it. Now back towards the middle. There's Perkins. Taking it towards the near side. Now they try to reverse the field. This one on the far side. Handled by Carly Ramsdell. Gets it taken away. Tries to get it right back, and that one skips a little bit further downfield away from the Polar Bears. Good Eagles defense so far. They've done a great job really swarming to the ball when it's a free ball. That one taken away by Perkins, but a foul. Goes back the other way. Last matchup between these two teams ended in a 6-1 score down in Brunswick last year. About a year ago to the day, that one poked away by Ramsdell, trying to get it into the circle is Tillotson. Gets pushed out towards the end line and goes out of bounds off the stick of the Eagles. Now on a good run for the Polar Bears. Here comes Bomber. Loses the handle. Taken away by Drew. Drew now working with it and loses the handle. Bomber again on the far side. All on her lonesome, trying to get it into the circle. Bomber all on her own, tries to get it in and sent out of bounds off of the Eagles. That's gotta hurt. Trying to get the ball back into play and off the head of an Eagles player. Good fight with it as Perkins comes away with it. Now trying to turn it upfield on the far side. Here's Rutman trying to put it in. Now on the edge of the circle, fighting back and forth are the Polar Bears and Eagles. Now turning upfield. Here's Ramsdell, loses the touch. Good shot into the circle. Trying to collect it and can't do so. That one was Bomber again. Now the Eagles defense needs it clear here. Lots of pressure faced so far to begin this first quarter. Penalty corner called on the Eagles. That was Ella Louder getting in the mix there. Just about 4.5 minutes, or sorry, 3.5 minutes done in this first period before the first penalty corner. It'll be Higgins to insert. Takes it to the near side. Here's Kutzer. Now back outside, shot. Blocked away by the Eagles defense. Getting into the mix is Perkins. She gets that steal, works it out. Great play from Perkins there. Still has to try to clear it. Dribbles up the sideline, gets it taken away, and finally just gets it out of bounds. Trying to get rid of that mask. Sent back in, and now missed pass. As the Eagles turn upfield, Blackie can't handle it. It's going to be a foot race. And the Polar Bears will track it down. Foul on the Eagles. They'll back it up towards about midfield. There's Shunk. That one gets away from Ramsdell on the far side. Trying to turn it up and draws the foul. Fighting with it on the far side. Finally able to get it through. Capozzoli in a foot race. Gonna try to box out Kutzer. Foul sends it back the other way. Polar Bears will reset it, try to flip sides of the field. Blackie trying to track that one down. Now here comes Malenfant. Merva, rather. Higgins sent it upfield, and another foul called on the Eagles. That was Drew this time. Goes out of bounds off the stick of Merva. Eagles have stood up well to the pressure so far. But very consistent pressure from the Polar Bears. This one into Malenfant, fighting with it. Ella Louder comes away with it, tries to get it to Blackie. Stolen by Merva. Great play from the Eagles, and another great dribble. Julia March working with it, now trying to turn it towards midfield. Here comes Tillotson on the far side. Capozzoli has it. Fighting with Kutzer. And draws the foul. So the Eagles now on the offensive side for the first time in this period. Get it taken away. Gonna try to get it right back. And on a good run are the Polar Bears. There's Bomber wide open, gonna try to track it down. Louder getting over there in time. Gonna send it back upfield. Polar Bears are right there. Here comes Merva now to the near side, trying to get it into the circle, feeding it to a teammate. That one continuing to stand up to the pressure are the Eagles. And another penalty corner called. Was Jennings in on it for the Polar Bears. It'll be Higgins to insert. Sends this one in towards the middle. Trying to get it to Bomber right in the middle. And that one goes just wide of the cage. The Eagles survive yet again.
Bowdoin's getting their chances and still unable to convert, and mostly thanks to this Husson defense, who definitely has been standing their own so far in this one.
one gets away from Hope Bouchard on the far side. This is a Polar Bears team that was ranked 14th in preseason polls. So they're right about where the NHFCA thought they were going to be, or NFHCA rather, National Field Hockey Coaches Association thought they would be. And another penalty corner will be taken. Again, Higgins will insert. This time gets it to Kutzer. Slap shot, knocked away again. Ella Lauder right there. So Bowdoin will take it at the 25-yard line. And in is Noyes, trying to get it over the middle. Jennings is there, kicked away by Goddard. And another penalty corner. 4 quick corners for the Polar Bears. This time they'll take it from the near side. Sends this one in. Here's Kutzer. Slap shot kicked away by Goddard again. Goddard is there again. This one sent in by Higgins and gets the Polar Bears on the board first here in the first.
Just a good way to stick to it, and just as you keep fighting, one of them is bound to go in, and eventually this was the one.
Higgins, her first goal of the season. Puts Bowdoin up 1-0 early on. 6 minutes to play. On the far side, Eagles trying to turn up field. That one goes out of bounds. Last touched by the Polar Bears.
Goal scored by number 14, Caroline Higgins.
There's Bouchard trying to turn it upfield. Overshoots her teammate. Now right back there is the defense. Abby Ross trying to fight with it with Merva. Merva gets away. Can't get the pass up to her teammate, but will stick with it after the foul. Now in there is Bomber. Bomber fighting with it with Lauder. And Lauder will draw the foul. Eagles will take it. There's Bouchard again, gets it taken away by Clifford. Clifford sends it back up. And the Polar Bears will reset, trying to flip the sides of the field. Now working with it in the midfield. Perkins trying to fight with it. Gets the foul. Perkins will send it down to the near side. Looking for Arsenault. And another foul on the Polar Bears. This Eagles drive will keep going. This time Murch with it. And another foul. Eagles will stick with it. Trying to get into Capozzoli. Capozzoli now. Back the other way. Taken away by Merva. She's been all over the field so far for the Polar Bears. Now here comes Higgins. Bomber on her own, trying to get it by. And into the circle, trying to get it to a teammate. And past Kimmy Goddard yet again. That was Faith Jennings sneaking it by her. And the Polar Bears strike for the second time in the last 4 minutes. They lead it 2-0.
Jennings with her 4th goal of the season. Just about 11 minutes into this one.
And with the amount of pressure that the Polar Bears have been putting on the Eagles, it's, like you said, it's only a matter of time before you start finding the back of the cage. Here's Perkins with it at midfield, trying to turn it. Blackie's got to track it down. She gets there. Now needs to split defenders. That one's taken away. Ferguson sends it out of bounds off of an Eagle. Now here's Shunk to put it in. Perkins tries to take it away. Ferguson now will send it out of bounds, and it goes back in the direction of the Eagles. Bouchard will take it. Straight to Merva for the Polar Bears. Now that one gets away from her. Good move there to try to stick with it for Tillotson. Tries to get it back. Now we'll reset. Now to the outside. Here's Murch looking for Capozzoli too hard. Now Jennings on the far side, trying to get it back into the circle. And there on defense for the Eagles to knock it out of bounds. That was Rory McGinley. So it'll be a corner for Bowdoin. Again, it'll be Higgins to insert on the near side. It's that one in. Trying to send it around the circle are the Polar Bears. Merva gets it in. That one, a penalty called on the Polar Bears, and the Eagles will survive that corner. Now Louder will take it just past the boundary of the circle, trying to get it to the other side. Perkins wasn't there, but Merva will reset. Trying to flip sides of the field. Blackie trying to track her down. Capozzoli there as well. Tries to get it into the circle. Pass too hard in front of Malenfant. And the Eagles get it back. Another chance to clear here. This one taken away on the far side. Coming back with it is Higgins. Frost is there as well. Keeping the pressure up, not leaving a lot of space to work with for the Polar Bears. That one out of bounds, last touched by an Eagle. Polar Bears take it about the 25-yard line, trying to get it into the circle. Foul, and it goes back the other way. Louder will flick it to the far side. Frost trying to get there, but is called for the foul. Polar Bears will flip sides of the field. Now here's Murch working with it. Gets it taken away. Here's Merva now going back on the offensive for Polar Bears. Ferguson into the circle, tries to get it across. Kimmy Goddard is there to kick it away. It goes back to the Eagles. Louder now to the far side, again taken away, this time by Clifford. It's Rutman now trying to work it up. This time into the circle, but out of bounds. Time will expire here for the first quarter. Polar Bears lead it 2-0 over the Eagles. We're going to step aside on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back here out of the breaks, Ethan Moss alongside Ryan Barnes. The Polar Bears leading 2-0 over the Eagles, but the Eagles have faced a lot more pressure than 2 goals, and they've stood up well.
They really have. I mean, with 7 shots coming in to Kimmy Goddard, and most of them being saved, 3 of them, and 2 obviously going in. I mean, the pressure's there from Bowdoin. They're first number 13 in the country. They're just a good team, and to have someone come in like that and be able to save most of the shots and just keep that pressure no matter who it is, really, and it's always a good sign.
Absolutely, and the Eagles, again, this is a young team really trying to reestablish themselves now back in the North Atlantic Conference after being in the New England Collegiate Conference for so many years. Multi-time champion of that conference, now trying to bring that to the North Atlantic Conference.
And on top of that, first-year coach, new interim head coach, new assistant coach, and just kind of a lot of these teams, all these players are returning and just coming to come in with a new coach and new system. It's kind of hard to adapt too.
Absolutely, it's a bit of an adjustment, and these women have played very well so far in this year. It'll be another penalty corner for the Polar Bears. Caroline Higgins will take it, the senior out of Weston, Massachusetts. On the near side, sends it short, can't handle it. For Malenfant, tries to get it back in, poked away by the Eagles. Now Eagles with numbers going back the other way. This time tracked down, and they will reset in the backfield. Still trying to put some pressure. That one Slips away from Kutzer, trying to get back in time. Ramsdale on the far side can't track it down. Eagles with it. This pass too strong off the hands of Merva. Higgins can't track it down on the near side. Bouchard trying to send it upfield now. Perkins is there. Capozzoli as well. This time Bouchard gets fouled. Merva again is right there. Perkins will poke it away. Eagles stick with it. Blackie trying to get it now. Turns upfield and slapped out of bounds by a polar bear. Bouchard takes it. This one goes short. Blackie gets the handle. Tries to get around the defenders. Now here's Perkins. Reversing the field, tries to just get a shot in towards the middle. Maybe a chance for an Eagle to track it down and get a shot off in the circle. But it goes wide. Blackie is there to poke it away, but Merva there to clean it up. Here's Bouchard now on the near side. Great move, tries to get it in off the stick of Merva. And the Eagles will stick with it just outside of the circle. Good offensive chance here. It was Tillotson getting it down. Perkins will send it out wide. Here's Bouchard trying to turn it in. This one taken away. Still working with it, and a foul against the Polar Bears. They'll stick with it, trying to go quickly as Perkins. And another foul. Eagles again are going to go quickly. Nope, they'll slow it down. Perkins will send it back out wide. Here's Bouchard trying to get it back in. And taken away by the Polar Bears. They have numbers now back the other way. On the run is Ferguson, running into a bit of a wall on defense. This time it's Bouchard. Now going coast to coast to track that one down as Perkins fighting with it on the edge of the circle. And it goes back the other way.
Great job by the Husson defense there to stop an attack there.
Eagles with it on the near side. Bouchard sends it up the field, trying to get to Capozzoli. It's Blackie now on a run. They'll keep taking these fouls, helping out these drives upfield. Been a bit more aggressive. Blackie tried to get a stick on it and a little too hard off of the stick of Bouchard. Just about 5 minutes done in this quarter. Perkins knocks it down just outside the circle, gets fouled, will stick with it. Gets it taken away. Bowdoin defense just as potent as their offense. Now going up the field is Ferguson on the near side, trying to get it past Louder. She does, into the circle. Now up, here's Goddard. Knocks it away. Shot was from Clifford on the far side of the circle. Louder will flick it to Blackie on the near side, right along that sideline. Foul goes against Higgins. Now here's Murch to take it. Gets it upfield to Blackie. Blackie will stick with it. Taken away by Merva, but a foul called. Now here's Maddie Perkins. Long pass up the field. This one knocked down by the Polar Bears. Capmazzoli trying to poke it away. Looking for the foul, doesn't get it. Now on the attack. This one into the circle. Goddard is there. Here comes Noyes. Into the circle yet again. Fighting for it with Malenfant. Goddard still kicking it away. That'll be Shunk to send it in. This one now to the far side. Goddard knocks it down. Good attempt from the Polar Bears and a better stand on defense from the Eagles. They get a chance to clear here with Louder on the edge of the circle. Perkins will send it upfield. Out in front of her teammate in Pouchard. Fighting for it on the far side is Perkins and Jennings. Jennings will win the battle as it goes out of bounds off of Perkins. Trying to get it into the middle of the field, but Blackie is there. Gets past one defender, knocked away by Merva. Merva, the freshman on a Shrewsbury, has been forced to be reckoned with on both sides of the ball for the Polar Bears. So far into the season, really proving herself in a tough conference to play in. It'll be a penalty corner now for Bowdoin. NESCAC also home to the D3 field hockey champions in Middlebury, currently ranked #1 as well. Trying to go back to back. Sends this one and now trying to reset it as Kutzer getting it back in to Merva. Good shot. Murch was there to clean it up. Bouchard now gets it out to Perkins. Now fighting for it on the far side with Frost as Merva tries to get it back in. This one leaks out of bounds off of the stick of Higgins, and the Eagles will survive another one.
I feel like a broken record saying this over and over, but Bowdoin's getting the chances. They're getting the shots on. They're getting passes to open players. And Husson defense just being right there, holding them to only 2 goals off of so many chances.
There's Ross trying to get it past the attack from Bowdoin. Now into the circle, but it'll go out of bounds, and they call it a corner. So they couldn't quite clear it off after that stop. And now back into the cage. Now on the far side, again, it's Higgins. Looks to Kutzer. Kutzer gets it in and knocked away by Perkins. And it'll be another corner. Perkins just charged Kutzer. They've been going straight to her on every corner. So eventually you're going to sniff that out. See if they go back to her on this one. Straight back to Kutzer, trying to get it back in. This one they go wide, shot, knocked down, shot wide of the goal by Malenfant. And now the Eagles a chance to clear again. Here's Louder. Working with it. Soft touch. Fighting with it with Bouchard. Was Ferguson. Bouchard draws the foul, gets it back into Louder. Now up the field. Here come the Eagles trying to get it past midfield. They do so, knocked away and out of bounds. Last touch by a Polar Bear. Here comes Murch now. We'll send it short. Working around the defense is Carlock. That one goes out of bounds. Eagles still with it on the near side. Here's Perkins. Looking for the foul, doesn't get it now. Higgins working her way upfield, trying to get it to Ferguson. She'll track it down. Gets it past the Eagles defense. And it'll go against the Polar Bears. Eagles now turn it around. This has been a great period for the Eagles. Being able to stand up to this tough attack from the Polar Bears. And able to get it into the offensive side with regularity and still fighting with it. Now Mervo will take it upfield. In to the circle, and it'll be a foul against the Polar Bears going back the other way. This one to the near side. Couldn't quite track it down. That was Arsenault. Now it'll be Shunk trying to swap sides of the field. Kutzer gets it knocked away by a Frost, but Merva sticks with it. Trying to get it off is Higgins, and just misses her teammate. Jennings was wide open on the other side of Goddard. And just too far in front. Now Ruttman will take it, trying to reset it back to Kutzer. This one taken away by Frost. Now trying to change the tides, goes straight back. Baker on the far side trying to track her down as well. Fresh into the game. Goes upfield now, looking for Bomber. That one poked away. Ross on defense. Still working with it, and a foul. Now Ross will try to clear it. Just under a minute and a half to go in the half. Takes it off the hands, and now here comes the Eagles on the other way. They will reset it. There's Shunk. And they reverse sides of the field. There's Ruttman. Sends it out of bounds. Eagles will take it right in front of their bench. Fighting is Bouchard, trying to stick with it. Bomber gets it in. This time it's Noyes getting it just to the edge of the circle, taken away by Baker. And a foul. It'll go the other way. Here's Blackie. Doesn't get the stick on it. Polar Bears do out of bounds. Husson ball, now just 10 seconds to go. Arch will take it around and waste some clock. Now Bowdoin coming back the other way. Not enough time, and the clock will run out. Here on the first half, the Polar Bears leading at 2-0. Eagles really showing up on defense here in this second period. We're going to step aside for the half on Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back here out of the halftime break, Ethan Moss alongside Ryan Barnes. Continuing to lead this one are the Polar Bears 2-0 over the Eagles. We swap sides of the field. And now Eagles will be attacking left to right. Polar Bears going right to left. Capozzoli knocks that one away. But we want to talk about this defense. For the Eagles, they've really survived a lot. And it's not necessarily by the skin of their teeth or anything. They're almost dominating on defense like they typically do on offense.
Bowdoin's been getting the chances on offense. I mean, they got the first 2 goals of this game, with the most recent one coming just 11 minutes into the game. And for the rest of the 19 minutes of that first half, Husson's defense has been right up against them. Still 2-0 here as we start this third quarter. And as long as the defense can stay like they have been now, Husson's going to be competitive throughout this entire game.
Gives them a good opportunity on offense to try and really, if you get a few lucky bounces and put one in the back of the cage, you're right back in this game. And again, we said pregame that maybe this was a potential for an upset. Now on the attack into the circle are the Polar Bears, nowhere going. Foul against Bowdoin. It comes back the other way. Louder will try to clear it. Gets it up the middle to Perkins. Perkins tries to retreat and swap sides of the field, but nobody's home. And it'll go back to the Polar Bears now at about the 20-yard line. Sticking with it into the corner, loses her footing, and that, she goes down but is back up. That was Jennings. Now into the circle are the Polar Bears. Back on the attack is Jennings, and the pass goes to Higgins, who finds the back of the goal. Another goal for the Polar Bears. Now 3-0 Jennings, or Higgins rather, getting her second of the game.
First goal coming about 9 minutes into this one now. Just 2:13 into this second half. Higgins with her second of the season as well. And now it's a 3-goal game, but even now, Husson's defense still putting the pressure on. There's really not much you can do at that point. Higgins was able to get some space and click it home.
I think the Eagles had just forgotten about Jennings after she went down, slipping on the turf a little bit. But she got right back up, stayed with the play, and was able to make the pass over to Higgins to get it in. Now the Eagles on the attack, sent too far in front of Capozzoli. Now it'll be on the near side. Ruttman is there, sends it over to Shanahan. Now Capozzoli takes it away, tries to get it to Perkins. Perkins can't get there, but it's a Husson ball. Doesn't get too much closer to the circle than that. Perkins will take it right at the top. This one sent in off of Capozzoli, and that was Blackie to send it home for the Eagles. They answer right back.
Blackie just finding open space in there, just knocks it home, her 7th of the season. And now just like that, you mentioned before, if you're lucky bounces, you get a goal right back in this game. Yes, you give up that 3rd goal, but this one, it's right back to a 2-goal game. And now with this goal, you can build up momentum. You can build up confidence as well. And just like that, they're in it.
Great attack from the Eagles, again sticking with it. And that was Perkins to feed it in. Blackie was right there on the deflection to get it right past Arsenault. And now trying to get it right back up the field are the Eagles. Lots of pressure now on the backfield for the Polar Bears. Swarming are the Eagles. Murch was there to try to knock it away, and it goes back. Now Perkins fighting with it. Higgins on the far side. Gets it back towards the Polar Bears bench. Murch will insert just past midfield. Turns it up to Arnold. Is there to poke it away for the Polar Bears, and a foul against the Eagles. Gets possession back for Bowdoin. This time sent in, fighting for it, and we're at the 20-yard line. That's Drew working on Merva. Drew wins the battle, getting the foul, tries to get it back upfield. Here's Blackie now. Gets that one taken away, but a foul up the field now. Here's Ramsdell. Foul on the Polar Bears. That takes away a great attacking chance. This is Cunningham trying to work with it against Perkins, and a foul against the Polar Bears. Eagles being a bit more aggressive.
And after doing some research, this is the first time that Husson has scored a goal against Bowdoin at home since September 18th, 2018.
So it's been quite a while. Still feels weird saying 2018 was quite a while. I suppose it is now. Here's Merva on the near side, getting it into the circle, but taken away by the defense. Now Eagles will have possession just past the 25-yard line. It'll be Ramsdell. We'll get it back in. Here's Ross to try and clear it upfield. Deflection, and they get it up to Capozzoli. Capozzoli now working with it towards the middle. We'll get it back to Murch on the far side. Murch looking for Blackie. Good deflection up to the middle. And a foul against Bowdoin. Blackie is down on the far side of the field. She gets up and is okay. And a green card issued to Shunk. She'll take a break for a couple of minutes. Eagles now up 1. Another great chance. Here's Blackie on the far side trying to get it in. This one too shallow. Blackie steals it right back, but poked away again. Trying to clear it was Kutzer. Nowhere to go, and the Eagles turn it right back around. Back into the circle. There's Perkins. That one poked away by Merva. Great quick passing from the Polar Bears has them set up on a great attack. Head of steam going forward, trying to get it into the circle. Last-ditch effort to poke it away, and it's just wide of the goal. That was Higgins all alone. Eagles will take it on the near side. There's Ramsdell just over the top of that ball. Perkins is there to collect it and give a little more time to the defense. They will reset, try to flip sides of the field. Good pressure from the Eagles. Won't allow them to. Now here's Shanahan on the near side. Poked away by the Eagles now. Trying to go up the field. There to take it right back is Noyes. And loses the handle out of bounds. Noyes, the freshman out of Lexington, Mass. This one goes up the field. This time it's Murch. Carlock, rather. Now Ramsdell looking with it. Will take it in herself. Past one defender, tries to shoot it up the field. This time to Frost. Frost loses the handle, gets it back. And the Eagles will pass it around, trying to stick with it. Keep the possession in their favor. Here's Carlock now, working with it. Just past midfield, loses the touch out of bounds. But forced out of bounds by a Polar Bear. There's Ramsdell again, and hits that one in. Back to the Polar Bears now. Now here's Ruttman looking way downfield. Has Jennings. He'll send it out of bounds. Shanahan will send it in now. Now here's Perkins with it in the middle of the field, fighting with Merva. This has been a great battle to watch all night. Perkins wins this one, gets it up the field. It'll be a foot race. There is Bowdoin. Now here's Bouchard working with it, gets the foul, and they'll send it back upfield. Right there is Arsenault. And foul against her. We'll send it back in favor of the Polar Bears. Foot race to the ball. Foul on Bowdoin. Shunk comes back into the game. Going back the other way, it's Rosati on the far side. Rosati still sticking with it, tries to get it back to Merva. There to clean it up is Noyes. On a good head of steam into the circle. Shot goes wide. Eagles now with a chance to clear. Here's Carlock. Now back to Rosati. Into the circle. Merva tries to get it off. That one will just leak out of bounds. Eagles get it right back. Just past 10.5 minutes into this period. Here's Bouchard. Fighting with it with two Polar Bears. Sticks with the handle, but loses it out of bounds. Here come the Polar Bears into the circle. Another foul just on the edge. Trying to send it in is Shunk. Perkins is there to take it away. Now up to the far side. Here's Capozzoli working past one defender. On a run on the far side, all the way down the field is Capozzoli. Gets it taken away. And we'll go back the other way. Rosati was there. Arnold was also there. Try and stop that run. Shunk will send it again, immediately taken away by Blackie. Pass goes high and a dangerous play called. Eagles will stick with it. Quick pass, trying to get it to Capozzoli, goes out in front. Now here's Kutzer. Back the other way, Shanahan up the middle, tries the long pass. And a mishandle by the Eagles. Here comes Jennings into the circle, sticking with the touch, and draws the penalty corner for the Polar Bears. The first penalty corner of this period. Again, Eagles have stood up to it very well up to this point. Again, it'll be Higgins to insert. See if she goes right back to Kutzer. That seems to be the game plan. Right to her. Now they'll go wide, looking for Merva. That one gets past Goddard. Merva will send it in. And Polar Bears take the 4-1 lead here in the third period. Maddie Merva right off of the corner. I'm going to call that actually for Higgins. So her third goal of the game completes the hat trick for the Polar Bears. And again, it's a great force for this team the last few years. Now the senior. Trying to keep the pressure up are the Polar Bears. Now to the near side. Working with it is Shanahan. That one is blocked right inside of the circle. That was Abby Rost getting there. Gets it to Bouchard. Immediately taken away by Noyes. Trying to flip sides of the field. That one is stolen by Blackie. Capozzoli loses her footing, and a foul called on the Eagles anyway. Rutman fakes upfield. Tries to flick it over the top of the defense. Can't track it down for Jettings. Now sent upfield by Bouchard off the stick of Rutman. Now here's Kutzer. Bouchard is there, putting a lot of pressure on the attackers. Now Merva in a foot race to the corner, loses it out of bounds. And just about 30 seconds left to go here in this period. Just trying to run out this clock without giving up another, but here comes another chance. That one knocked away. That was Leah Bouchard. Back into the circle. Now 13 seconds left. Eagles have it. They clear it out of the circle. There to track it down is Noyes. And a penalty called. Clock continues to run and will expire here in this third period. Eagles give up another, but get one back as well. 4-1 your scores. We head into the final period. We'll be right back on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back here out of the break for the final period here at the Winkin Complex. Ethan Moss alongside Ryan Barnes. Polar Bears leading this one 4-1 against the Eagles. Capozzoli set to start off this final period. Eagles showed some signs of promise on attack, but gave up a couple more in that last period. Trying to score multiple goals for the first time against Bowdoin. Straight onto attack are the Polar Bears and immediately awarded a penalty corner. Just 26 seconds into this period.
Husson also finally getting their first shot on in that third quarter.
And this has been an impressive show for the Eagles, especially on defense, considering who they're going up against. This one sent up to Kutzel, now to Merva, tries to go high and can't knock it down for Higgins, and out of bounds. Eagles will take over. Ramsdell can't handle that pass from Louder as it goes out of bounds. Now this time sent out of bounds by Perkins, mishandled by a Polar Bear. So the Eagles will take over at the 35-yard line. Ramsdell again takes it in herself. Gonna keep going with it over to midfield. Loses it, loses her stick. Now up the field. Here comes Rosati into the circle, across, and just wide. Good block. I think that was Abby Ross getting a little bit of a stick on it. Flicked upfield by Louder, but a dangerous play. And it comes back the other way, knocked away by Perkins. Merva will take it at the top of the circle. Now turns it upfield to Arnold. Foul on the Eagles. So again, it'll be Arnold right up there at about the hash marks on the far side. Gets it out wide, tries to get it back in, and just sent wide. I believe that was Hannah Wardak. Sorry, that was Jane Shanahan. Just sending it wide of Goddard. Now on the near side. There to take it away are the Eagles, trying to turn it up the field. Now it'll reverse side. Here's Blackie on the far side. About time they got her involved again. Loses her footing, but it'll be a foul on the Polar Bears. It'll stay with Eagles. Foul on the Eagles. Now trying to send it upfield, taken away by Perkins. Perkins, great show of dribbling, continuing to stay with it through two defenders. Gets it across the field, but just wide of a teammate. That was a great chance there. Put it right in between Ramsdell and Tillotson. Just unable to react to it in time. Now sent up towards the circle. Capozzoli is fighting with it with Tillotson right there. But foul as it goes back to the Polar Bears. Sends it up the field. There's Arnold now with it. Up to the far side on a good run. Back into the middle with Merva. Merva gets it past one defender and just out in front of Rosati. Couple of mistakes there and a great chance goes down the drain for the Polar Bears. Goes upfield. Blackie can't track it down. This one taken away by Blackie. Trying to get it up the field. Here's Tillotson. Gets it just behind Ramsdell. Ramsdell now gets the opportunity to get it by and taken away by Noyes. Noyes is there to knock it down. Now Ramsdell fighting with Noyes. This one now upfield to Merva. Merva on a good streak up the middle. Gets it over to Rosati. Rosati crossing. Knocked away once, twice, and in. No goal. Eagles will stand again. That was going to be a foul called on Jennings. Goddard was there, able to keep her cool under that pressure. Now the Eagles going the other way. This offense for Bowdoin has looked like a well-oiled machine, making a lot of great passes and almost all of them on target. Here's Capozzoli now on a run to the outside. Gets it over to the middle to Perkins. Here's Perkins now with it through some defense, all on her own, one to beat, and is taken down. But it'll be a penalty corner for the Eagles. Great hustle from Perkins to stick with that ball as she stuck it through the defense and kept with it all the way through the contact. She just had the keeper Arsenal to beat. But it'll be Tillotson to insert on the far side. Waiting for the Polar Bears defense behind the net to get geared up. And this is, field hockey ball is not very forgiving. Now here's Tillotson, gets it over to Blackie. Blackie collects it, shoots, and sends it just wide. I believe Arsenault was there to deflect it just a bit. Eagles now got a pressure right on the edge of the circle. Sending it upfield, great shot from Kutzer. She's got quite a bit of power. Now Pouchard has it on the defensive side. Drew will send it upfield just out in front of Blackie, but Maddie Perkins is there to take it away. Here's Murch now into the circle. That one poked away. Arnold was there on defense. Sent in by Pouchard. Capozzoli loses the ball. It was wide open in the middle of the field there. Now three fighting for it. Gets it into Blackie. Blackie gets the shot off, but it'll go wide. Tried to get it into Tillotson, who was all alone in the circle, it seemed. just out in front of her, and the Eagles again will try to pressure. Here goes Noyes on a good run towards the outside. Will send the pass off to Clifford. Clifford gets it deflected, but Noyes collects. Now here's Merva trying to get it past the defense, poked away by Louder. Clifford again will be fouled just outside of the circle, so no corner. Clifford again working with it. They get it out. Looking way upfield was Capizzoli, nobody there. Goes right back to the Polar Bears and out in front of Cunningham was that pass. We'll send it up the field there again to knock it down. Turns up field for Clifford. Clifford's still sticking with it, trying to get it past Ramsdell. Now into the circle just outside. And a penalty corner. Just over 5.5 minutes to play. Score is 4-1 in favor of the Polar Bears. Eagles, after a good attack attempt, now pinned back on defense. Able to get a shot off, their second of the game. Polar Bears leading that category 8-2. Shot gets off by Kutzel. There to collect it is Merva back in, and that one deflected by Rosati and into the back for another goal. Eagles player is down just outside of the cage. And they get her up. So it appears to be Jasmine Johnson coming off the field for the Eagles. Looks like she took that one to the head. So it'll be Capizzoli set to send it off. Eagles will stick with it on their side, trying to get it past. Very good defensive attack for the Polar Bears. Here's Cunningham on the near side, gets it back to Clifford. Clifford whiffs. Just out in front of Merch was that pass, or Tillotson rather. Now it'll be Ruttman to send it back in. She goes back to the great stick of Kutzer. She's had a lot of power on her passes upfield. Great dribbling from Ferguson here, working her way in, fighting with it, and finally draws the penalty corner. That was Tillotson on defense for the Eagles, as well as Ross. And just about a minute later, Eagles gonna try to survive this penalty corner. This one sent in yet again to Kutzel. Misses it. Poked away by Perkins. Lackey is there to track it down. Turns upfield. Gets it taken away. That one will go out of bounds. Last touch by a Polar Bear, and the Eagles get away scot-free on that one. Here's Blackie with it, loses her footing. But a foul called. Eagles will stick with it. Got to retreat a little bit. Now Bouchard to send it upfield. Right back on the attack. Here's Noyes with a great head of steam. Gets it over to Cunningham. Cunningham into the circle. Fighting with it and eventually out of bounds. Last touch by her. There back on defense was Ross for the Eagles. Now trying to get it upfield is Louder. Louder looks to Tillotson. Tillotson will draw the foul on Clifford. This one flicked upfield. Now sent across. Able to knock that one down is Melanfont. And a foul on the Eagles. I've got to back it up. Clifford will take it. Just under 2.5 minutes to play. We'll pass it back and forth. Clifford splits one defender, but Perkins is there to intercept. Now turning up the field. Loses the handle on that one. Foul goes against Perkins. And it'll come back the other way. Here's Merva with it now. Into the box. Eagles there to take it away. Here's Capozzoli trying to get it past the defender. Now Merva will take it. Just out in front on defense was Perkins. She will stick with it. Gets it upfield to Blackie. Blackie will pass it up the field. Capozzoli all on her own. Nobody to help her. Gets it back over to Blackie, who trips over it and can't get the stick down in time. Another good attacking attempt from the Eagles. We'll have to wait. Cunningham misses the handle. Now sent out wide. Into the circle. Goddard is there. Trying to get it in was Clifford and denied that time by Abby Ross. Now here goes Noyes. Right there was Bouchard. And immediately back the other way. Ruttman with it. Gets it over to Clifford. Pass in is intercepted and taken off of the leg of Clifford. That was Louder trying to clear it. She'll send it upfield again. There to intercept was Kutzer. Perkins tries to get it wide. Goes out of bounds off of a polar bear. Just under 20 seconds to play. Eagles trying to mount a last-second attack. But Merva is there to intercept the pass intended for Capozzoli. Now to the outside, it's Higgins. 5 seconds to play, and they're in the circle, poked away. And the Eagles will survive that attack, but the Polar Bears come away with the win here in Bangor. 5-1 the final score. Eagles, I think, have a little bit to think about, but realistically a great game for them against a ranked opponent.
As you said, especially against a ranked opponent, 5-1. If you look at it on the scoreboard, you think 5-1, okay, they might have a lot to work on, but in reality, Bowdoin just kept getting chances, but for the vast majority of these chances, Husson's defense was standing tall. And like, again, as you said, a lot to think about. Just think about stuff like, all right, what could you do, especially offensively? What could you do to get better offensive chances? What could you do to find some open teammates? What could you do to just keep the ball moving in the direction you want it to go? But defensively, I mean, there's really not much more you could ask for. They're getting, as I just said, they're stopping the majority of the chances that Bowdoin was getting. And I mean, if it wasn't for this defense blocking, with who made a couple of huge stops, this could have been a 6-1, 7-1, or potentially 8-1 game.
Absolutely, and they'll be back in action tomorrow against another NESCAC opponent in Colby College. That'll be tomorrow at 4. It'll be myself and Ryan back on the call. For Ethan Moss and Ryan Barnes, thank you for tuning in today.